Look at me up here in the middle of the afternoon. What's going on, everybody? It's time to do some live Royal Rumble 2019 predictions. I'm doing things a little bit different this month with my predictions. Normally I come up here and do like a full podcast episode. But this week I was kind of running out of time and I felt like it would be a good opportunity to try something different and just come up and do a live chat, some live predictions. I have been racking my brain prior to coming up live here, trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to predict for both of these shows, because I am going to predict TakeOver as well. But I've got some ideas, and I actually called a couple of audibles not even 3 minutes ago, and I changed a major prediction. So I've just been thinking, my mind has been racing so much. Okay, what are they going to do heading into WrestleMania with this scenario, with that scenario? And I keep changing my mind on shit. And I read over my predictions. I kind of proofread them, and I'm like, nope, something doesn't add up, you know? So I tweaked some things, changed some things around, and we're going to have fun. So first of all, I'll at least say hello to you guys and let a few people roll into the chat. I don't know what kind of audience we're going to have this afternoon. Probably not very big. It's Friday afternoon. It's 3 p.m. for me here locally. I got to head to work in about an hour. So I'll wait a couple of minutes for everybody to kind of gather in, and then we'll roll through TakeOver quickly, because I'll probably keep those predictions pretty quick, and then we'll spend a lot of time discussing Royal Rumble. Hello, everybody. You guys can... All right, we're looking good. We're sounding good. Wonderful. My schedule also for this weekend. A lot of you guys are wondering what I'm going to be doing for Royal Rumble. I did mention that I might come up and live react to NXT TakeOver tomorrow night. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to come up and live stream after the show. So there will be a live stream tomorrow, but I'm not going to react to the whole show. I'd rather just come up and do a review of it, because TakeOver is generally like so much really, really good wrestling. I want to focus on that and be able to watch it instead of fucking around in the chat like we do on Monday Night Raw nights and shit like that. So I'd rather just be able to enjoy the spectacular matches we're likely to see on tomorrow. So I don't want to be bothered with worrying about streaming. So what I'll do instead is come up and do just a post pay-per-view review. And I'll wait till after the show and we'll do a live stream. We'll chat, we'll talk about it, discuss all the great matches, that kind of thing. Then on Sunday, I will be live reacting to the entire Royal Rumble pay-per-view. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll be up here with you guys for about 4 hours. I'm not going to do the kickoff show. I'm just going to react to the main card. And I've got the link, I don't know if the link is on the top right-hand corner there, but it's on my channel right there. So you can find that and just join me for the entire Royal Rumble pay-per-view. That should be a lot of fun. I still have not said hello in the chat to you guys. What's going on? Oh, yeah, everybody is in here. Oh, yeah, we got a small group. I thought we'd at least have 100, but that's okay. We'll go through the predictions anyway. I'm going to leave these up on the channel until Sunday, so people can look back and see what I had to say. And we're not going to waste any time. We got to get into it, because I do need to head out of here and get to work. I got my notes pulled up, man, and just looking at these matches for the Royal Rumble, my God, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to predict this show. So let's start, though, with NXT TakeOver, excuse me. I've got, what do I have? 6 matches? I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches? Yeah, 5 matches. No, 6 matches. I'm sorry. So this is a pretty big takeover. Normally there's only like 4. Anyway, let's start with Matt Riddle and Cassius Ohno. I can't believe this thing is still going on. But I'm going to go Riddle 100% on that. This seems like it's Matt Riddle's like entry-level feud in NXT, and he's been screwing around with Ohno for a while. So seems like this issue needs to be put to bed. And I'd like to see Matt Riddle kind of, I don't know how long it's going to take him to kind of advance into the title picture in NXT. I wouldn't imagine it would take too long. I don't know if TakeOver New York or TakeOver Brooklyn, I'm guessing that's where they're doing it for WrestleMania, is too soon for him to get a title match. But I think a potential match between him and a particular NXT champion that I'm going to mention in a minute might be something fun for the future. But anyway, Riddle over Ohno 100% there. Tag team titles on the line, Undisputed Era against War Machine. I haven't watched NXT in a few weeks, so I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know where the storyline is pointing us to go here. War Machine was a part of the winning team at War Games, right? Let's go Undisputed. Let's just pick Undisputed Era for shits and gigs. I'm going to pick them to retain. Ricochet versus Johnny Gargano for the North American title. This one I can't wait to see. I don't even give a shit who wins. I would like to see Ricochet continue rolling, but Gargano hasn't tasted gold in NXT yet, and I'm wondering if he really ever will. And I'm also wondering, when do you think about pulling the trigger on this guy as far as like main roster goes? He's done a lot in NXT. You know, when it comes to a lot of NXT talent, most NXT talent, I'm never in any hurry to get them up to the main roster. Everybody wants to see everybody up to the main roster tomorrow. I'm the complete opposite way. I want people to run their course, have a nice, long, lengthy run in NXT, and take your fucking time. But with Gargano, they have been taking their time. And I think if you're going to move them up, might as well move them up now and, have them maybe come up short in this great match with Ricochet. So I'm going to pick Ricochet to retain, and possibly Gargano showing up on the main roster soon, or maybe even showing up in the Rumble on Sunday. We've got Shayna Baszler against Bianca Belair, NXT Women's title. I'm going Baszler. I'm a very big believer in building people's NXT legacies. I don't want to see Shayna Baszler drop it and enter the Royal Rumble and challenge, for the title at WrestleMania. Everybody's in such a hurry with this shit. And I think the longer Shayna Baszler runs with the belt, the more opponents she beats, the stronger she will be when she gets to the main roster. So I would like to see her survive a little while longer. And if she is going to drop the belt, maybe do that at the WrestleMania TakeOver. So I'm going to predict Baszler to retain here, and Bianca to put up one hell of an effort because she's super over. Fans love her. I think this will be the beginning stages of her eventually maybe becoming NXT champion, but it won't happen tomorrow. I'm picking Baszler. And then we've got the NXT title match, main event, I'm guessing, Tommaso Ciampa and Aleister Black. If you noticed, I didn't pick any title changes yet. I think I want to put the belt back on Black. Now, I really want to see Aleister Black come to the main roster. I think there's some awesome matches he can have. But maybe, because of his injury, it tripped him up a little bit. And now maybe he can have one more solid run with the NXT title. And then when he drops it, then he heads over to the main roster. And there's one main reason why I want Aleister Black to be champion and to stay in NXT for a little longer is because I want that eventual Aleister Black-Matt Riddle match. I mean, am I not crazy for thinking that would be fun? Like, wouldn't that be a fun match? Especially if built properly. Now, like I said with Riddle, I don't know if WrestleMania is too soon for him. He just got there. They might want to drag their feet with him a little bit longer and wait to give him a title program until the summer or something like that. But if Aleister Black is champion, he can maybe wrap up business with Tommaso Ciampa. There will be a rematch or something. Maybe they can bust that out just on NXT and then save TakeOver Black with a brand new challenger. Hopefully like Matt Riddle, or maybe even a champion versus champion thing. Aleister Black and Ricochet. Aleister Black and Adam Cole. All sorts of shit they could do. But I think Black, I really liked him as champion. Wouldn't mind him winning the belt back. And if he does defeat Ciampa and then survives any rematches with Ciampa, not only could you have Gargano going to the main roster, you could have Tommaso following him. That would be fun. So, just to recap, picking Matt Riddle, Undisputed Era, Ricochet, Shayna Baszler, and Aleister Black, all to pick up victories in one title change with the new NXT champion. So, what do y'all think? Let me go down here and read these to see how stupid y'all think I am. Are you crazy, GoodMicWork? You fucker. Yeah, I love Ciampa as champion. Don't get me wrong. But, I don't know. Maybe I just got this feeling. But I'm not really the right one to predict these NXT shows because I watch so little of NXT. So when it comes to these takeovers, I don't know. If I was watching the show weekly, I could probably make a better guess of where the storyline direction is going. But I'm kind of pulling these predictions out of my ass. So that's kind of why I rolled through those pretty quick. But yeah, so let me know what y'all think. Let's move on to the Royal Rumble. Now, this one was driving me crazy. All day long, I'm sitting here changing my mind. I'm getting some shit done around the house. I went and ran a couple of errands, and I'm thinking the whole time. I'm like, when I get home, I got to write down some notes because I'm going live at 3 o'clock here, and I've got to put down some legit predictions because I can't fucking make up my mind of what's going to happen. So I think I got some really wacky ones. I believe it was the last pay-per-view. I got every match right except for one. This one, I could get every match wrong. So, well, no, that's not true. I know I'm going to get some matches right. But some of the big matches, especially with the 4 big world titles, I was like, what do I do? Do I predict nobody to drop the belt or everybody to drop the belt or what the fuck's going on? So here are some of my ideas. Let's bust out these stupid matches first. We got the kickoff show. There's 2 matches planned for that. Like I said, I will not be up here live streaming for that. Only the main card. We got the Fatal 4-Way for the Cruiserweight title. Buddy Murphy, Akira Tozawa, Kalisto, and Hideo Itami. I'm just gonna keep the belt on Murphy. Let him keep rolling with it. He won the belt in such a big, spectacular way. He's been a good champion. If you are gonna have him drop it, now that his run has been somewhat lengthy, it should be like in a big moment. You guys, that's all I ever talk about in my episodes. I'm always about like the big moment, when the best time to do something is. And I just can't see in a fatal 4-way on a fucking kickoff show, even though it is in a baseball stadium, I can't see that being the place where Murphy ends his long run in some 4-way in a match where he doesn't even have to be pinned. I'd rather just somebody just beat him, and that can happen maybe on the kickoff show of WrestleMania, actually. So I'm going to predict Murphy to retain there. We got the U.S. title on the line as well on the kickoff show. Rusev defending against Nakamura. I'm keeping the belt on Rusev. Now, a couple of you pitched an idea of Almas eventually, or Andrade, excuse me, becoming U.S. champion in the future. I think that's a great idea, because I don't know, unless he wins the Rumble, he could challenge for the world title, because the WWE champion is going to be in need of a challenger at WrestleMania. That's a big factor in what I predicted later on. So if Andrade doesn't do that, U.S. title seems likely, so you keep the belt on Rusev, who's basically a babyface. Andrade can beat him for it. And after we saw the great match with Andrade and Rey Mysterio on Smackdown, that could be a WrestleMania direction or something like that. So I'm going to predict Rusev to retain against Nakamura. I don't know how. I just feel bad. Nakamura last year won the Royal Rumble. This year he's losing on the kickoff. And I also don't know if a lot of these singles matches, or a lot of these previous matches, if these guys are going to be allowed to enter the Rumble. Some years they do, some years they don't. So I don't even know if Nakamura will get an opportunity to defend his Royal Rumble title. Main card now, we'll start with the tag team titles. Shane McMahon and The Miz taking on The Bar. I'm going Shane and Miz. I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. As soon as this match was announced, I was thinking that Shane and Miz kind of have to win the titles, because there's something going on there. WrestleMania is right around the corner. Shane always has a match at WrestleMania, and right now the person that he's involved with the most on TV is The Miz. If Shane's going to have a match at WrestleMania, who the hell is it going to be against if it's not The Miz? Are they going to have time to wrap up this tag team storyline with The Miz and then set Shane on a course to somebody else at WrestleMania? No way. There's no time. It's going to be Shane and Miz. So I think Shane and Miz win the titles here. They do the split. They do a fallout somehow. One of them screws the other one over. I kind of thought Miz would be a really good person to have challenge Daniel Bryan for the title at WrestleMania, but it doesn't look like they're doing that now. So maybe in the end, Miz screws over Shane, and you get Shane and Miz at WrestleMania sometime. They drop the belt back to the Bar or another team. I don't know. It just seems like that's the direction they're going, unless they fall short here, and then Miz somehow sneaks into the Rumble, wins the Royal Rumble, and is able to go on to challenge Daniel Bryan. That's possible, but I don't see it happening. So I'm going Shane and Miz to be your new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. This one's hard, the next one. We've got Becky Lynch and Asuka for the SmackDown Women's title. My God, my mind is all over the place with this, because we got two women's title matches to predict here. I think one is a little bit more easier than the other. Here's my issues with Becky versus Asuka. Number one, I don't want Becky to lose to Asuka. Don't really think she should be losing right now unless there's some bullshit going on. Now, if there's some interference, if Ronda Rousey does what she did at TLC and comes out and fucks Becky Lynch over, fine. Have her lose to Asuka. I don't care. But that already happened. Ronda already screwed her at TLC. Do they do the same thing again? And if you put the belt back on Becky Lynch, then why did she fucking lose it to begin with? Like, if Becky Lynch beats Asuka, wins back the title in a great moment in front of a stadium like that, crowd goes nuts, she's the champion again, why'd she drop it at TLC? Why didn't she just remain champion? What's the difference? And how do you get to Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey? Are we going to get that match? It was supposed to happen at Survivor Series. Nia Jax fucked us out of that opportunity, so we got to get it at some point. Ronda Rousey also has the issue with Charlotte. There's all sorts of shit to think about here. Are you going to do a three-way with Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda at WrestleMania? What the hell are you going to do? Are you going to do Becky and Ronda? Are you going to do Charlotte and Ronda? What are you doing, and how are you going to get there? So in order to get there, I still think you have to have Asuka retain. I think something happens. I don't know what. I don't necessarily want to see Asuka beat Becky clean. I wouldn't freak out if she did. Asuka, I would like to see rebuilt into that awesome dominant female that she once was. So a clean victory over Becky would be great for Asuka, but terrible for Becky, especially with how over she is and the clear direction that we're going in for WrestleMania and the possibility of the women even main eventing this show, which is a really, really big possibility. So I've had a lot of ideas in the past few weeks, one of them being an Asuka-Charlotte rematch at WrestleMania. I think that would be fun. So by hook or crook here, I don't know what they're going to do. I might not even necessarily pick Asuka to retain, because who says anybody has to win here? I just think Asuka is going to walk out of the Royal Rumble as champion. So maybe we get a DQ or something like that. A DQ would actually be really good, because if there was some sort of a DQ finish, maybe Charlotte gets involved for some reason. You know, maybe she just gets involved in that match, maybe doesn't intend to get Becky disqualified, but gets her disqualified anyway. Asuka retains the title. Everybody's happy, or at least I'm happy, because what it might lead to later. So let's talk about Sasha Banks and Ronda Rousey now. This is another big match. Now, yesterday it was reported, Meltzer had written some story about Ronda Rousey possibly being done with WWE after WrestleMania, even though she's in the middle of like a 3-year deal. But I guess the truth of the story is that Ronda may be taking a break at some point to get pregnant, have a baby, start a family, which is going to put her out for a solid year minimum. So that might be the case, which is, again, another sign that WrestleMania would be such a perfect place for her to drop that belt. She came into the company. Her very first match ever in the company was the best match on the card last year at WrestleMania. You know, so anybody that shits on Ronda for her in-ring work is crazy. She's fit into wrestling like Forrest Gump says. She fit in like one of them round pegs, and she really has. And she's just a fucking natural in the ring, and I love Ronda Rousey. So she came in at Mania with a big victory. I think maybe she should come full circle and have her first loss be at that very same show for the title and have somebody beat her. I think that would be a huge moment. So in order to get to that, you got to get past Sasha Banks. A lot of people think Sasha Banks is going to win on Sunday. You guys were tweeting me that on Monday, that Sasha is going to upset her. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't know how you're going to do that. I mean, Ronda, nobody else has beaten Ronda. Charlotte couldn't even do it. Charlotte Reigns, remember? You know, Charlotte Reigns could not beat Ronda Rousey. Charlotte Reigns also lost to Becky Lynch. Charlotte Reigns also lost to fucking Carmella. So I think if none of those ladies are going to beat Ronda Rousey, then Sasha isn't either. But this is probably, God, I might even go as far as to say, aside from Balor and Brock, I might be looking forward to this one the most, because you know the match is going to be good. Because the way Ronda has been working and selling her ass off for everybody, including Alexa Bliss and Nikki Bella, you know that she's going to make Sasha Banks look like $1 million. Sasha is going to take her to the limit. She's going to have her fucking cunt hair away from tapping out to that bank statement more than once. But in the end, I think Sasha's going to tap. Because the next pay-per-view is Elimination Chamber. How do you not have Sasha and Bayley in that tag team title match? How do you not do that? And if you do, that means one half of the team is going to be the women's champion if you do have Sasha Banks beat Ronda. So nothing about this match tells me that Sasha Banks is going to win. I think it's just going to be a really good match between the two. And I also have to wonder if it's a one and done. If it's one match between the two and they're finished, because next pay-per-view, you would assume Sasha's going to be in that chamber match. Then you got Fastlane. The two ladies, I guess, could pick up their issue at Fastlane and do one more match or something. But whatever they do, I say Ronda goes in to WrestleMania as champion. So what do we talk about next? Since we're on the subject of the women, why don't we talk about the Women's Rumble? Let's just skip around here, because this ties into some of my thinking here. So now we got the Women's Royal Rumble to think about. I haven't seen a full list of combatants for this, but you know there's going to be some mystery guests or some surprise entrants. I'd like to see some from NXT. The one big name I would like to see from NXT is actually from NXT UK. I think we got to see Rhea Ripley in this thing, because I think she could do some damage in the Royal Rumble. I would love to see her come out, just have one of those moments where she tosses out 5 girls, just, how somebody's always like super dominant in the Rumble, and she's kind of a badass. So I would love to see her come in there and clean house a little bit, and maybe even have a one-on-one confrontation with somebody major from the main roster. Maybe she tosses a bunch of people out and she's standing in the ring by herself, and then out comes, I don't know, Charlotte or something. That would be fun. So I would like to see Rhea Ripley. I don't know if we necessarily need to see Trish or Lita or Stacy Keibler, or we're not going to see Stacy Keibler or Tori Wilson or any of the divas from the past. We might see a few of those. But I think there's enough women there to round out this 30 just fine. And if you add some NXT and NXT UK talent, there's more than enough. So I think this year's Rumble is going to be better than last year's. And of all the women to win this thing, top of your list has got to be Charlotte, right? Because last year, Asuka was given the honor of being the first ever Royal Rumble winner, another accolade that Charlotte did not get. For Charlotte being so overpushed as everybody says she is, she didn't have a great 2018. Her big moment was beating Asuka at WrestleMania. She wasn't given the honor of winning the Rumble. She didn't beat Becky Lynch. She didn't beat Ronda Rousey. Hell, and like I said, she lost to Carmella. So this idea that Charlotte is overpushed to like a John Cena or Roman Reigns level is completely fucking bullshit. And I've said it a million times that all the fans care about is that she beat Asuka. That's all that happened. Once she did that, their panties got in a bunch. They've had a stick up their ass about Charlotte ever since, and they try to pretend that she's overpushed and given too many opportunities. Not really. Not compared to John Cena and Roman Reigns, that's for sure. They're not having her beat everybody. They're spreading the wealth with no problem. Everybody's getting an opportunity to be over. Becky Lynch, Asuka, Ronda Rousey. There's plenty of more alpha females in WWE than Charlotte. But once the fans get an idea in their head, no matter how ridiculous, they stick with it and don't waver from it. And they're fucking steadfast in this belief that Charlotte is overpushed, and I think that's a pile of horse shit. And I think that if WWE wants to look back at the history of the Royal Rumble and say, okay, the first ever winner was Asuka, you know they want to give Charlotte that accolade. Because one thing I will agree with the Charlotte haters is that WWE wants to make her the greatest, most iconic female wrestler ever. Yes, they do. 100%. You're not wrong. And I really personally don't have any problem with that. I don't know what's bad about that. It blows my mind that this girl that's fucking worked her tail off, a great story, getting into wrestling because of the tragic death of her brother. She's got a hell of a father, legend in her family. And I just think that if you're going to have anybody, be the focal point or the centerpiece or your new fabulous Moolah type of character, you can do a lot worse than Charlotte. So I don't know what everybody's bitching about. So my instinct tells me Charlotte's going to win the Royal Rumble, right? But what if she does make an appearance in that previous match with Asuka and Becky? What if she goes out there and either intentionally or inadvertently screws Becky out of the title somehow? Maybe they do the DQ finish like I mentioned earlier on. That way nobody's beaten. Asuka saves face. Becky saves face. DQ finish is very likely there. That pisses Becky off. Charlotte's in the Rumble, kicking ass. She's the final four, gets down to the last one. And maybe number 30 hasn't come out yet. Who's Carmella? Maybe Becky attacks Carmella backstage, enters at number 30, tosses Charlotte out of the Royal Rumble, and wins. And now has the opportunity to go on to WrestleMania to challenge somebody. And that's how you can get to the Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey match. Because I don't know how else you get there. If you have Becky Lynch lose or not win the title, and then she doesn't come out in the Royal Rumble match, it's going to be a repeat of what they did with Daniel Bryan. What year was it that Rey Mysterio came out last? We all wanted it to be Daniel Bryan, and it was poor Rey, and he got booed out of the fucking building. At least this time there's a heel at number 30 if Becky doesn't make an appearance here. So if Becky does not win the title, and she also does not compete in the Rumble, I'm going to be very confused. I'm going to be really fucking confused, because now I'm like, what the fuck are you doing now? Not that it would be the end of the world. You could still do something. You got 2 months, 3 months to WrestleMania. You could still find a way to make Becky and Ronda happen if you wanted to, but wouldn't it be more fun to do it this way? You know what I mean? So if it's not Becky, then I'm definitely going Charlotte to win the Royal Rumble, but I would like to see Becky get into that Rumble somehow, maybe even tossing out Charlotte last, whatever, wins the Rumble, goes on to WrestleMania to challenge Ronda Rousey. We get that big match, and then we also get the Charlotte versus Asuka Part 2 that I've wanted for a long time. And again, if Charlotte gets tossed out at the Royal Rumble, she's not being overpushed. She's lost another opportunity. And if she goes into WrestleMania to face Asuka, which is what I really want to see happen, I'm not saying it's going to happen, I just want to see it happen. If she does that, I want Asuka to win this time. I want Asuka to have that full circle moment, be built back up. I wanted her to defeat Charlotte last year at SummerSlam. That's where I wanted the rematch to happen. If it takes a full year, they do it again. This time it's Asuka who's champion instead of Charlotte, and this time it's Charlotte tapping out instead of Asuka. I think that would be great. And if you have the women main event WrestleMania, if they decide to do that, I'm not saying they're doing it, and anybody who thinks they know, you don't. Nothing is official yet. But if they do have, for example, Becky versus Ronda, main event WrestleMania, and you have Charlotte and Asuka tear the house down earlier on in the night, because I thought their match last year was very good. It came on, I think it went on second. Now, despite, Charlotte won, so of course everybody hates the match, but the match itself I thought was fucking awesome. So if they do another one and have a really good match, and then Becky and Ronda tear the house down, Becky wins the title, has this great moment, maybe you do a situation like WrestleMania 20 with Benoit and Eddie, and maybe you have all 4 women, the 4 alphas. You have Becky, Charlotte, Asuka, Ronda, all do like a bow at the end to close out WrestleMania. Maybe a big hug, a big embrace, maybe even the roster coming out to the stage and applauding, like the women are like here, they've arrived, big time female moment, main eventing WrestleMania, closing the show, rubbing it right in the face of fucking Saudi Arabia. And confetti falling, and these 4 women who have all had some serious issues with each other, maybe they have a nice moment. Now that could go in the other direction, and instead of it all being hugs and kisses, it could get nasty. You could get the 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen feud. That could kick off either at Royal Rumble. That could happen on Sunday. Something could happen there. You never know. Or you could start working on that around WrestleMania time if Shayna Baszler drops the belt and shows up. Now, if Baszler drops the belt on Saturday, she could enter the Royal Rumble on Sunday and get involved in this mix somehow too. So there's so many fucking factors, So when people say Becky's gonna win or Ronda's gonna win, we don't know shit. So don't pretend that you know what's up, because there's so many damn factors to take into consideration here, and that's what I like about this. I'm excited for the Royal Rumble. This is gonna be some exciting shit on Sunday, and I'm excited to sit here and react to it and hang out with all of you guys, because I don't know what the hell's gonna happen. So anyway, I'm going to go Becky Lynch to win the Royal Rumble for the women. I know that's crazy. She's not even entered into this match officially, but you got to do something, and I'm just going to pick Becky. So there you go. We got to talk about the men now. Let's talk about the title match first. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. Again, so far, I haven't predicted any title changes yet, and I'm not going to with this one either. I think Daniel Bryan's going to retain here. If for any reason Daniel Bryan loses the title to AJ Styles, which I do think could happen because you do have 2 pay-per-views until WrestleMania. So Bryan and AJ can't work again. How many pay-per-views in a row now have they worked together since Bryan won the belt from him? It's been 2, right? And they've just had a lot of matches, it seems like. So I don't know if they go again. So if Daniel Bryan does retain, who the hell does he work with at the next 2 pay-per-views? AJ could upset Daniel Bryan, and then Daniel Bryan could win the belt back between now and WrestleMania and go into WrestleMania to face somebody. That could happen. But I still think at the end of the day, Daniel Bryan should retain here. I love him as WWE champion. I love his character. Have you seen the Royal Rumble burger that Chase Field is announcing, and Daniel Bryan got pissed and he's like, this thing is fucking disgusting. I forgot what he tweeted out, but it was hilarious. I just love Daniel Bryan right now, and I love AJ Styles too. And if AJ does fall short here, I'm curious what he does at WrestleMania. Does AJ enter the Royal Rumble and win it and fucking challenge on the Raw side? I don't know what the hell is going on here. So if Daniel Bryan does defeat AJ Styles, I'm really curious what AJ winds up doing at WrestleMania. And plus, I still think there's more to AJ Styles knocking out Vince McMahon kind of having an interaction with Finn Balor, some sort of a Bullet Club type of thing may be happening in the future. That could really, really be a lot of fun, and if that's the case, you can make a case for AJ Styles winning this match. But I just think Daniel Bryan's going to do it somehow. Unfortunately, it does not look like there's a stipulation added to this. It's not Falls Count Anywhere. It's not No Holds Barred, no DQ, nothing like that. So nobody's going swimming. I was hoping that somebody would wind up in the outfield of Chase Field and take a dip in that swimming pool. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen in this match. And again, you could still do, much like Asuka and Becky, I don't want to see this for multiple matches, but at least one match I'm fine with ending in a DQ if it's really the only way to have everybody save face. So I kind of have the DQ earmarked for Becky and Asuka, but if they don't do it there, Daniel Bryan and AJ is a possibility as well. But at the end of the day, Daniel Bryan's walking out of the Royal Rumble WWE champion. Here's one that I changed my mind on about 5 times. Brock Lesnar versus Finn Balor. Now, WWE title is on the, or Universal title is on the line. According to Finn Balor, he is not going to be the Demon. He's going to be regular Finn Balor, which I think is a shame. I mean, he always saves the body paint for big shows. This is the biggest match of his life. and he's not going to be the demon, oh well. No big deal. Still going to be a good match. I'm looking forward to it. And I've said all along that Brock Lesnar is not going to lose the belt. The way you get the most value, I think, out of a Brock Lesnar title loss at WrestleMania. I'm sick of Roman Reigns being the only guy that can beat this motherfucker clean. And I think if he goes into WrestleMania, faces somebody in a one-on-one match, preferably the winner of the men's Royal Rumble that I'm going to predict here in a minute, and drops the belt, I think that would be just the best way for Brock to give back. Drop the damn belt clean, give it back to Monday Night Raw, and we can all be happy. We have our belt back that can be defended on every pay-per-view. Now there's going to be title shots for everybody. And I've been willing to be patient through all of this. Fans shit themselves, crapped on their hands, wiped it on their face in anger when Brock Lesnar won back the Universal title. And I was like, it's okay. You know, because I would love to see Brock drop that belt at WrestleMania. They gotta replace Roman with someone. They have to have someone on that level, you know, that's actually capable of beating Brock Lesnar. And if they do that at WrestleMania, that's just the perfect stage for that. But what about my scenario earlier with the women? What if the women main event WrestleMania? Maybe Brock Lesnar dropping the belt at WrestleMania isn't the best place for him to drop it, because now he's not the main event. You know, and I just think if Brock went in there in the main event and dropped the belt, that would be huge. But if the women main event for some reason, then that's got to happen on the undercard, and that might not be as good. You know, I might like to see it be a show closing type of thing, you know, because that's a big deal when Brock gets beat clean. Doesn't happen every day. So that's not something I would like to see happen in the undercard. So maybe Brock Lesnar drops the belt in the main event of a different stadium show, like the one on Sunday. What if the women's and men's Rumble come first? And what if the final match we see is Brock Lesnar versus Finn Balor for the Universal title, and Finn Balor fucking wins that belt? Holy shit. What do you think? Who do I pick here? What the hell do I do? Braun Strowman is not out of the picture yet either. He's still got issues with Brock Lesnar. WWE apparently misadvertised, purposely misled the fans, advertising Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar when they had no intention of following through with this match at all. The whole time when they ran that angle on Monday night, we were thinking Braun just wasn't cleared, you know, or something else happened, or WWE changed their mind for whatever stupid reason. But apparently they never changed their mind. It was never the plan to do that. So Braun's not out of the picture. Like I said, if Brock drops that belt, I am insistent that he drops it clean. But there is the possibility that Braun Strowman could come out and cost Brock Lesnar the match. Finn Balor is your new champion. He goes into WrestleMania as champion. We get a demon Finn Balor, you know, at WrestleMania defending the belt. And then Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman, who I know we've seen have matches before, and the matches have all sucked. They go into WrestleMania to maybe have a grudge match, but maybe you add something to it. Maybe you put it inside a Hell in the Cell. You know, maybe you have Brock and Braun in the Hell in the Cell at WrestleMania on the undercard, no belt on the line, and you have Braun Strowman beat him. Just like Brock Lesnar defeated The Undertaker and ended his streak on the undercard of WrestleMania 30. Maybe you do that same type of scenario with Braun Strowman definitively defeating Brock Lesnar in the Hell in the Cell, where there's no fucking bullshit, no interference by Baron Corbin or anything like that. And that can just send Brock off to UFC or do whatever he does. And maybe it salvages Braun Strowman, even though I don't give a shit about Braun Strowman anymore, and I think he's been made to look like a joke. That could be something to do. You know, like I said, if the women for any reason, if for any reason WWE goes with a female main event at WrestleMania, maybe all this talk that I've been spewing out for months about Brock needing to be champion at Mania, you know, maybe that's not the best place, and maybe he drops it here. And I haven't predicted any title changes yet, because except for the tag team title. That's it. That's all I predicted. So are all four of the women of the world titles, the two men's and the two women's, we're not going to see any title changes? I think we got to see one. So I'm going against everything I've said. Every single word that's coming out of my mouth, I'm going against that in this prediction. And I've had Brock Lesnar penciled in to win this thing all the way up until 5 minutes before going live. So let's just get nuts and goofy and crazy and wacky and predict some crazy shit, and let's have Finn Balor beat Brock Lesnar. Fuck it. Why not? If I'm right, I'll look like a genius. So I did not in a million years think I would predict that. I just thought it was going to be Brock all the way. But I'm trying to think about all this other shit and what they can do at WrestleMania and all the potential matches and where everything's going to fit and how it's going to all come together. Maybe this is what you do. And, oh, by the way, if Brock Lesnar loses, I got to put an asterisk by this. My prediction of Finn Balor. Can I change? Am I even allowed to do this? My prediction's going to change if this match is not the main event. Here's the thing. The only way I think Balor beats Brock is if it happens in the main event. If the match comes first or earlier on in the card, forget it. Prediction off the table. I'm going Brock. But if that match is the main event, I'm going Finn Balor. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that in predictions, but it's my stream, so I'm making up my own rules. Men's Royal Rumble time. Again, we're going to get some mystery partners. We know the winner here has got to go on to WrestleMania to likely challenge the champion of their own brand. Because I think when it comes to the two Rumble winners, one jumps brands, one does not. Isn't that what we saw last year? I can't remember what the fuck we saw last year. But I think that's what they should do. Plus, I think a SmackDown guy has won the last 2 years, right? It's time for a Raw guy. So I'm eliminating the SmackDown combatants. And when you think about that and you look at the Raw roster, who's on there? You got a couple of alphas. You got Drew McIntyre and you got Seth Rollins. They're on the top of my list. We're going to get some mystery entrants too. I have no doubt we're going to see Kurt Angle. John Cena, I guess, is up in the air. Sounds like much like the Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar match, they never intended to have John Cena in the match either. He was supposed to be announced for the Royal Rumble, and they were supposed to do the deal with Lars Sullivan, but Lars is gone or fucking AWOL or something, so they did the angle last week on Raw where they made it like John Cena hurt his ankle or some shit, and he re-aggravated that at the gym, something like that. He's probably out, which no big deal. I didn't pick Cena to win this thing anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I don't know if we're going to see Cena or not. Likely no. But I think we're definitely going to get Kurt Angle. Like I said, we could get some NXT call-ups. Johnny Gargano. Maybe not even a call-up, just an appearance. A Johnny Gargano. Another one is Velveteen Dream. Velveteen Dream is not even booked for TakeOver. He'd be a perfect guy to come in. So as far as the men and women's Rumbles go, as far as NXT talents, Rhea Ripley and Velveteen Dream are on the top of my list of talents that I want to see make an appearance here. So if I'm eliminating the SmackDown roster, which is a shame because I think, Andrade could be a good candidate to win, just like Del Rio did a few years ago. Andrade would be a great guy to win the Rumble. But I'm going to stick with a Raw guy because I think Raw needs to win it this year. And the only other one that I can think of, aside from Seth Rollins, is maybe Bray Wyatt. I think we need to see Bray Wyatt in this Royal Rumble. If Bray Wyatt, because he is technically a Raw guy, right? He was teaming with Matt Hardy and all that, so he's on the Raw brand. If he did win the Rumble, a Raw guy would win, which would end SmackDown's streak, but Bray Wyatt could jump to SmackDown to challenge Daniel Bryan for the title at WrestleMania. I wouldn't be against that. I guess that would be babyface Bray against heel Daniel Bryan. That would be quite a switch from 3 years ago, right? Or 4 years ago, or whenever the hell that was taking place. So Bray Wyatt's an option, but still, at the end of the day, I got to go Seth Rollins. And for me, with the scenario that I laid out for Finn Balor and Brock Lesnar, if it turns out to be Seth Rollins, he can go in to face either one of those guys. Wouldn't matter to me, because if he faced Brock Lesnar, great. I think Seth needs to be the one guy that beats Brock Lesnar clean, curb stomp his ass, launch Seth Rollins into superstar status and a main event major top tier guy in WWE. And that would be great for him. But if the scenario I laid out for Brock and Balor takes place, Balor winds up winning the Universal title. Demon Balor can defend against Seth Rollins, rematch from SummerSlam several years ago, and Demon eats his first loss on the main roster, getting curb stomped and beaten by Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Wouldn't hate that idea either. Kenny Omega, I'm reading down here. Sorry, I'm not reading too much of the chat. I've just been rolling through these predictions. I'll talk to you guys now here in a second. EC3. We're probably going to see guys like that too. EC3 and Adrian. No, I don't think EC3 is going to win the Rumble, but I definitely think he'll be in it. Same with the females. We could see what's her face, Lacey Evans and Nikki Cross. We know we're going to see all of them too. So I know I've probably left out a few surprise entrants, but Kevin Owens, another one. Kevin Owens could show up. I don't know his health status. He's out until April. That could be the case. But again, Kevin Owens winning the Rumble, not with what they've been doing with him. I mean, what did he do? Remember, he came back, he faked, he said he was going to quit, and then he came back and faced Bobby Lashley and then got squashed. I mean, Owens Owens winning the Rumble seems completely out of place. And I love Owens. And when he comes back, the Universal title should be on Raw regularly. So Owens title matches will come in the future. He doesn't need to win the Rumble. Plenty of time for that. So I'm ruling Owens out completely. And there's James Lewis. There's more people who are definitely sure. I love when people say so-and-so is going to win the Rumble. Okay, he is. Nothing's for sure. Don't be so confident. All my predictions, I firmly admit that I could be wrong in every goddamn match. But I think I've got some interesting ideas. And the funny thing is when I originally wrote down all the predictions, I looked at it, and the only title change I had was Shane McMahon and The Miz winning the tag team titles. And I'm like, that's not right. We got to have something change hands. We have to have at least one title change hands. And I don't see it being the U.S. title either, or the Cruiserweight. So when it comes to those 4 big world title matches, we got to have one. And I didn't see Osku losing. I didn't see Ronda losing. I didn't see Bryan losing. And I didn't see Brock losing. So I had to compromise somewhere. So I decided to go with the DQ finish with Osku and Becky and predict Finn Balor, maybe with the help of Braun Strowman, to upset Brock Lesnar. And then maybe Brock and Braun can have a Hell in the Cell match at WrestleMania where Braun ends him. And then hopefully that salvages a little bit of the mess that they've made with the career of Braun Strowman, because he was kind of sacrificed last year at the end there when they did a heel turn and the whole thing with Roman Reigns, and that was just such a mess. And he's looked like a big pile of shit ever since. And I certainly don't want to see him go into WrestleMania to win the tag team titles with a fucking referee's son this year either. So if you want to save Braun Strowman, if you want to stop and halt the progression of him turning into the next big show, this might be the only way you can do it. Oh yeah, and R-Truth is number 30, and that's another thing I meant to mention that too. We know R-Truth is going to do something in the Royal Rumble. He's either going to show up number 30 in the Women's Rumble, or somebody's going to trick him. They don't even have to attack R-Truth, because R-Truth is such a goofy character. I don't want to see R-Truth attacked. I want to see R-Truth tricked into losing his spot or something. Like somebody just offers him a cheeseburger for his 30th spot. He's like, hell yeah, I love this cheeseburger. Give him the Rumble Burger. The Rumble Burger. Somebody needs to offer him the Rumble Burger for his 30th spot, and he'll take one look at that thing and how delicious it looks, and he'll gladly give away his spot to somebody. But then again, I was looking at WWE.com. They don't have like all 30 participants, named really. They just have like handfuls of people. So we don't really know everybody that's in it. We don't even know if some of the people in these matches earlier on in the card are going to be in the Royal Rumble. And plus, you're going to want to spread the 2 Royal Rumble matches out, so you're probably going to want to do the Women's Rumble. Women's Rumble might open the show. I don't know. And a lot of the placement of this stuff, it depends on that too. If you are going to have interference in either one of the women's title matches, let's say Becky wants to get revenge on Ronda Rousey for what happened at TLC. Becky's not going to do that if she's got her title match later on. So like her title match needs to happen first, and then she needs to come out and attack, not the other way around. So the placement of all these matches, I think you have to take into consideration, where the Royal Rumbles are going to be. They might have to bookend the show, start with the women's, end with the men's. I don't remember what they even did last year. Did they do it that way last year? I don't even remember. So there's just lots to think about. Some people even, I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but last week, a lot of you were asking me the possibility on Twitter of Finn Balor losing to Brock Lesnar and then entering the Royal Rumble as the Demon, and I shot that down right away. I'm like, the only way that could happen is if Brock and Balor opened the show. They were the curtain-jerking match. Those 2 guys, and you got that match out of there so Balor can go backstage and get that fucking body paint put on, which takes hours. So I don't see that happening. And I don't know if I see any really crazy swerve. I see a lot of surprise entrants. I see Carmella or R-Truth getting booted out of their 30 spots somehow. I would like to see Carmella get her ass kicked by Becky Lynch, and Becky shows up at number 30 and wins the thing. That's what I would love to see. Or R-Truth, maybe. The only thing is, if they did that with R-Truth and somebody stole his 30th spot, you would think that person would have to win it, much like the Becky Lynch scenario. If she got in there somehow and came out number 30, she's got to win. She's not going to come out there at number 30 and be tossed out. So whoever number 30 is should win. Seth's already announced for the match. I want to see Seth Rollins win. So, and again, if it turns out to be Bray Wyatt doesn't necessarily need to attack R-Truth or take R-Truth's 30th spot. Bray Wyatt can come out of the Royal Rumble anyway. So there's no spot to really take because all the participants aren't even named yet. So R-Truth is going to do something funny. The one thing I know is probably not going to happen is R-Truth is not just going to come out there at number 30 and get in the ring and start fighting. Something's going to happen. Either he's going to do something crazy or somebody's going to do something to him. That's my prediction there. So, yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Let me look at my predictions again. Let me recap in case there's some of you just joining in now. I just rolled through all of my Royal Rumble predictions, and the NXT TakeOver predictions are at the beginning here if you want to go back and listen to that. But as far as the Royal Rumble goes, I've got Buddy Murphy retaining the Cruiserweight title, Rusev retaining the US title, Shane and Miz becoming your new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I've got Becky and Asuka either going to a draw or a DQ or something, and I've got Asuka walking out as champion. I don't think it's a really good idea to beat Becky right now, even if there is interference, which you could do, with the 4 horsewomen, or if Ronda's match takes place prior and she comes out and tries to screw her over like she did at TLC. All that's possible, but I think at the end of the day, the best way to get out of this situation is just do a DQ. Because like I said, if Becky Lynch wins back the belt, why the fuck did she drop it at TLC? What was the point? There wasn't one. So I'm just going to wash this match out. Let's just get out of it without either woman losing face and do a DQ there. I've got Ronda Rousey defeating Sasha Banks. I've got Daniel Bryan retaining the WWE title over AJ Styles. In a really crazy fucking last-minute prediction, I had Brock every day. 100%. Brock Lesnar, dating back all the way 3-4 months ago. I said, as soon as he won that belt back, I said, he'll be champion at WrestleMania. When my mind started getting turning about the women potentially main eventing WrestleMania and not Brock, maybe he drops the belt in the main event of WrestleMania. So my condition for Finn Balor defeating Brock Lesnar and becoming the Universal Champion is this match main events. If it goes on last, I got Balor all the way, maybe with some help with Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar have their blow off at WrestleMania, maybe in the Hell in the Cell, without the title on the line. If the match happens earlier, I'm switching back to Brock Lesnar. I know predictions don't work that way, but like I said, my stream, my rules. Women's Royal Rumble, I'm going Becky Lynch. I thought Charlotte would definitely be the person that WWE would want to have win this thing, get that feather in her cap, get that on her resume. But again, they don't want a repeat of 2015 or any other year where the fans just shit all over the Royal Rumble. And I don't want to see that because I'm a Charlotte supporter. I defend her to the end of the earth. I went on a huge rant on her just a few minutes ago, if you want to rewind and hear me calling all the fans out on their bullshit of thinking that she's overpushed. But if she did win this, I think you're going to have close to 50,000 people really upset, especially if Becky Lynch falls short against Asuka and then also does not appear in the Rumble. You're going to have a repeat of that year when it was poor Rey Mysterio that came out at number 30, and the fans were pissed. They were pissed. So I think Becky maybe needs to attack Carmella, does something to get in there, and maybe toss out Charlotte, and wind up winning the Rumble so she can jump to Raw and set up our big Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch match. So I'm gonna pick Becky Lynch somehow to win the Royal Rumble. I'm picking somebody who's not in the Royal Rumble to win the Royal Rumble. Yeah, I'm insane. And then as far as the men's Royal Rumble goes, like I said, I'm still going Seth Rollins. Drew McIntyre is a very likely pick as well. But I just think Seth Rollins, regardless of what you do with Brock Lesnar and Balor, Seth makes an excellent opponent. If he faces Brock, great. I've been waiting for that. I've been waiting for Seth Rollins to fucking beat Brock Lesnar clean. If that's what they do, Brock Lesnar retains, heads to WrestleMania, Seth wins the Rumble, I'm a happy camper. I'm also a happy camper if Finn Balor wins the title, Seth Rollins wins the Rumble, and you get a Demon versus Architect match for the Universal title, rematch of SummerSlam a couple of years ago, but this time, instead of Finn Balor winning the Universal title, Seth Rollins wins the Universal title, and then you can have the women main event WrestleMania in that big grand scenario that I laid out earlier on. With the WrestleMania 20 moment with Eddie and Benoit. You do that with the 4 alpha females in the company. Charlotte, Becky, Asuka. Who am I missing? Charlotte, Becky, Asuka, and Ronda Rousey. You have the 4 of them there. Maybe a little show of respect. Handshake, confetti. Roster gathers on the stage, applauds the women, doing something pretty fucking incredible. Main eventing WrestleMania. And like I said, shoving it right in the face of Saudi Arabia, because they're going to be heading over there right after that for another show, right? Or is it before? Pretty sure it's after that. So yeah, there you go. What do y'all think? Is GoodMicWork genius, or is GoodMicWork batshit nuts? Y'all tell me. And I got to get out of here in a couple of minutes. How many people we got watching? Well, we ended up getting over 100 in here, 125 people. By the way, if you're watching right now, do me a favor, smash that like button. We only got 44 likes. That's crazy. Hook me up there and make sure you subscribe, and I'm going to be here all weekend. Like I said in the beginning of the video, tomorrow night after TakeOver, not during TakeOver, I'm not going to react to it, but after TakeOver, I'll be up here live streaming, and we'll do a review of the show. And then on Sunday, I will be live streaming my reaction to the entire Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Not the kickoff show, just the main card. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to hanging out with you guys and watching the Royal Rumble. That'll be our big 25,000 subscriber party, too. I'm just about there. I have no doubt we'll get there either tomorrow or on Sunday for sure. So it'll be fun. It'll be a fun weekend of wrestling, and y'all are going to see a lot of me. Oh, good, I'm a batshit genius. That sounds about right. I agree. I am a batshit genius. Anyway, so yeah, you guys take care. Have a good beginning of your weekend, and I will catch you tomorrow night after TakeOver. How long do TakeOvers generally last? Like 2.5 hours? I haven't even put the link up to the post-show live stream yet, because I don't know what time to schedule it for, because I don't know when TakeOver is going to end. But I'll kind of make a guess on that, and I'll put that link up probably sometime tonight. So check back, and I will catch you guys tomorrow night after TakeOver for a real fun live stream. Y'all be good. Catch you tomorrow. Peace.